Congress comes back from its August recess tomorrow. There's some work to finish. Here with me to discuss what's on the to-do list is Congresswoman Susan Davis, who represents the 53rd Congressional District. Welcome to the program.
Nice to be with you. Thank you.
I understand that you support the Iran nuclear accord, which is aimed at stopping the country's nuclear program in exchange for lifting sanctions. Why do you think it's a good deal?
Well, the most important thing we can do is to stop Iran from having a nuclear weapon. That's really goal number one. And I think that this gives us, along with our international partners in the P5+1, including China and Russia, are very important in this because we want everybody to keep the focus on Iran now and be sure that they are using any nuclear capacity for peaceful means only.
Now, as you know, Republicans believe that Iran will violate the agreement. They don't quite have enough votes to scuttle the deal, but they're trying to muster up votes to get a resolution passed against the deal. What sort of success do you think they might have? What are their chances?
Well, I think we see that the Senate has just come out enough members who I think would certainly make it veto-proof. And also, which is a negative resolution that they're trying to pass. And I think it's important that we talk about next steps. I mean, that's really, I think, what the yes votes that are there are interested, because we have to be sure that it is for peaceful means. We're not expecting them not to possibly cheat, and it's partly why we need this deal. I think why we need the entire international community to join with us and for us not to be isolated in that result.
Let's move on to the Syrian refugee crisis in Europe. Just last week we saw the drowning death of a Syrian toddler. There is a push now to get the United States to take in more Syrian refugees who are fleeing ISIS, who are fleeing their country's civil war. What's your position?
Well, I think we're all, deeply concerned about what's happening, and certainly those images of children have alerted the entire world to this catastrophe that's going on. We certainly have our own issues here in terms of immigration, and I think it's very important for the Congress to look at this issue and to understand how we can be helpful. And how we can be helpful with those countries that are also willing to take in refugees, because they are basically on their doorstep and within their countries. And we know that these kinds of images and stories just have to be answered in some way that's positive for those families.
So are you in favor of allowing more refugees from Syria to come to the United States?
I think we have to look at our own policies here and our own numbers and take a look at that. We know that we've had many refugees who are basically in line as well to come here. We've slowed down a lot of the refugees who have been coming here, and I think it's important for us to take a look at this and to really evaluate what we can do and how we can help.
You voted this summer to give President Obama fast-track authority to negotiate the controversial Trans-Pacific Partnership, a 12-nation trade deal. How would this deal benefit San Diego?
We know here in San Diego that many small businesses engage in trade. They want to have new markets to sell to. We also know that there are many issues that are combined in the Trans-Pacific Partnership that could be helpful, certainly in terms of even environmental issues in the oceans. I think that we will be following the actions that are being taken now by those who are negotiating the agreement, and I will be looking very, very closely on whether or not I think it's best for San Diego. I've had some issues about it, but I did believe that we should give him the authority to go ahead and negotiate, so he doesn't have to, those countries don't have to negotiate with 535 members. But on the other hand, I think it's important that we be certain that pharmaceutical products, for example, are ones that can be used, of course, by other countries, especially developing countries where they have developing democracies. And so it's going to be important for us to weigh in on what we think is best for our country, and that's really what I've been doing, being a part of the conversation.
So very quickly, voters have protested outside your office also. They have concerns about the TPP. They have environmental concerns, e-commerce, internet commerce concerns, as well as job concerns. Do you share those concerns?
I do share some of those concerns, which is why I'm part of the conversation and why I've stayed involved in this issue, because I do think we need to be looking at what's best for for San Diego and what's best for California, for that matter. And there are many things that we can work on, and I'm doing that every day. Yeah.
Congressman Susan Davis, thanks so much for coming on the program.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.